Hey guys, whenever I set out to make a video about Supergirl, I am really aware of the fact that I have never ever made a positive video about Supergirl. Ever. I don't think I ever have. No, I never have. Yeah, that should be. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not gonna be changing that fact now. Okay, so I stopped making some videos about Supergirl a little while ago because I didn't really feel like I had anything to say about it, anything new to say about the show. Essentially, because I feel like I've kind of said it all, and I probably have, but the subject of this video is, and you've probably guessed it from the video title, is why Supergirl really shouldn't be a thing in the final season. Okay, now, first of all, I have not changed my stance on anything. I definitely believe that the show has consistently, from the first moment that they introduced the character of Lena Luthor into the show, that the sole purpose was to, queerbait. I'm sorry, I mean, I know there's people who don't agree and they just, but I don't care. It's, yeah, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty in your face. They didn't try to hide it. And then when you have like writers coming out of the blue, as they have done in more recent months, be like, I was in this writing room and I was really rooting for them, meaning SuperCorp, and you're like, wait a minute. So the writer room knew about this? Interesting. But then others are like, no, we weren't intending for this to happen. I don't know what you're talking about. This never happened. So, like, which one is lying? And I feel it's really strange that writers or people in the industry doesn't know what queerbaiting is. So, yeah. But anyway, okay. So here is my... So the show as a whole does not know or aren't capable of writing a actual romance. They aren't capable of it. They tried it in season 1 with Kara and James. I mean, I know people are like, I've always been kind of like pro Kara and James because it seems more logical. But for me, it kind of seemed really weird. There was nothing at all. The only link they had was that James knew Clark and came to National City to like be some kind of guardian figure to her or something like that. Anyway, I don't know. And he was dating Lucy, and then suddenly he knew her secret, but not because she told him. That just raises whole other things. Anyway, but so then like Lucy assumes that James is into Kara because he's not gonna tell her the secret that Kara is Supergirl, and then they're dating. So that was kind of weird for me. It's just like, for me, in my opinion, an early form of the same thread that is used throughout the whole of the show. They're told that they're into this person, and it must be so, and therefore it is, so it happens. It's basically being told, and we're not being shown. Okay, but, James in season 1 wasn't a bad character, so, okay, let's overlook that. And we get to season 2, and we move networks, and we get onto the CW, which was probably the death of Supergirl. I can argue, I've argued that before, that Supergirl, like, just died the moment it entered the CW. And its real insipid attempts to tell stories, they never actually went full all the way. They're always sidetracked and held back by this desire to tell stories that were more befitted to teen dramas than superhero content, where she just kicks ass, and it was always very love triangles. Oh, Supergirl loves this boy. Oh, what? So then Kara dumps James because, Monel's around. And he's, the self-inserted character of the disgraced producer who was fired for sexual harassment. I've said before, it's never good to have a self-inserted character. I mean, especially if that self-insert is such a negative, and no one likes that character. I mean, I've spoken to people who are like even beyond the SuperCorp fandom that have like no real reason to not like him. But what was to like about him? There was, it's gonna be really unpopular to say this, but Alex and Maggie, look, the relationship between them was not as perfect as many people think. That's my opinion. Remember, we can all have an opinion. If yours is different, cool, that's great. But I think maybe sometimes people view things with tinted spectacles. But anyway, yeah, that wasn't great. And there was the relationship between Win and his girlfriend, who just seemingly just disappeared. She was quite abusive to him, and I was just like, that's it over. It was just nothing. Okay, well, you could have made a point there about the domestic violence that men suffer that is really kind of not spoken about. You could have made a point about that, but you didn't. You kind of made a joke about it and then made it disappear. So, well done for that. And, oh God, what was next? Lena and James. Okay, so James was a complete ass to Lena. Completely. He was, yeah. But apparently that's okay because he was in love with her. And whenever we're in love with someone, we're always very mean to them. Until someone says to that person that we're mean to that there's great chemistry between us, even though there's none. I'm sorry. It's just... And the way they wrote the whole relationship, they completely threw Kara under the bus just to get the two together. When you have to use your characters as props to make things happen, it shouldn't happen because you're forcing something. You're taking them out of character for no reason other than to make something bend for you. And it doesn't work that way. It doesn't become organic that way. It's just bad. So thank goodness they broke up. And then there was... Who was next? Oh, it was Kara and William. Are they still dating? Will they ever dating? Oh, fuck, who knows? This really dull, insipid, vapid, empty character that they just wrote a name on a piece of paper and said, let's cast this character. Don't worry about any kind of character for him. We can put it in as we go along. And then they forgot. He was just British dude who knows how to buy coffee. He's great at that. Yeah. So, and again, we implement the same laws that happened to Kara and Monel and Lena and James. She's not into him, but Alex says, do it, go for it. So she goes, okay, and that's it. They're dating. Despite the fact that we know that, William kind of badgered her for do we know how long, trying to get her to believe he was a good guy. Yikes. Never do that. It doesn't work. And it's really, really desperate and bad. Right. So I think I've proved my point that Supergirl as a show are incapable of actually writing a romance that is any good in terms of something you want to watch, or in terms of actual healthy relationships portrayed on screen. This is going to be unpopular to say, I did skip over dancing because while I feel that they are the most healthiest relationship that have been on the show, I feel like we don't know enough about them. Which I've also spoken about before, but it's a real shame. But I feel it's just another way that the show really kind of gives this fake era of wokeness. Like, we have these characters, but then they give them dust. So just little bits thrown in. Like, why? Just so knowing all of this, I would have to question if Supergirl the ship was to become canon in season 6, and that's how the show ended, how that would be portrayed in the hands of such an incapable and downright toxic writers' room and showrunners. They would completely annihilate the ship. Right now the ship exists beyond the screen, beyond the queer baiting. It exists in this world where art and fan fiction and however else shippers are portraying it and bringing their ship to life, and it's beautiful. It lives, it breathes, it's beautiful. What Rovna and Kuala would deliver would only ever tarnish it. It would never be anything that was something that you spent seasons watching and hoping for. It would only ever be something that was thrown together at the last minute, because everything is going to have to be thrown together at the last minute. They have so many loose ends to wrap up that the season itself is already doomed. But when you put in this, like, I would rather them go out with Kara and William, because that's just how the show is. Just bland, and something that really promised a lot but didn't ever deliver. Ever. I mean, the last season, they really told us that. The viewership really told them that William was the drag. He was the drag. And the episodes that they pushed a woke agenda. Now, that's going to be controversial to say, but the general audience don't want lessons. They don't want lessons. They just want good characters on screen doing stuff. That's it. But one episode every season they give to a character that they've given dust to for the whole season, and suddenly for that episode it's theirs. and then the audience is supposed to care. It kind of was the same with William. Like, you could have left him out after Crisis and no one would have noticed. No one would have noticed. Because every time he appeared, they lost the viewers. And then they used that as an excuse to end on season 6. Which, considering the viewing figures in season 5, is a bit weird. Because they know the formula that works. They know it. They just never implement it. They go against what their viewers want, always. It's like they always try to punish their viewers. And this is why you should never, ever want them to make SuperCorp canon. Because they do not give you what you wish for. So it's like a genie wish. It's never good. And in many ways, I feel like if it had been portrayed in a different way, if there was more, then they could have done the long slow burn type relationship that you could have said, okay, I got what you were doing there. But they can't do that now because, yeah, they've kind of screwed everything up. And they, just terrible. It's the fact that they built the Justice League and then, like, nearly all the superheroes in that Justice League are now on shows that are ending on their final season, sorry. So what was the point in the Justice League? Doesn't make any sense. So, this is my little controversial take. But I also think that maybe it's not so controversial because I feel like a few people may have this opinion. I could be wrong. I could be really, really wrong. Who knows? Okay, so I'm recording this on Christmas Eve. It's 30 minutes until 12. So it's 30 minutes until Christmas Day. Yay. So, if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you don't, have a great day anyway. And until next time, I feel like I want to do like a positive Arrowverse video, but like what to do? maybe something to do with Legends of Tomorrow.